Hi. The Holodomor is one of the most tragic events in Ukraine's history. The man-made famine took lives of at least 3.9 million people in 1932-33. It is now recognized as a genocide in Ukraine and 14 other countries, but not in Russia. In fact, Russian government and Russian historians claim that the famine had natural reasons and was not specific to Ukraine. So what really happened, and how can it be so controversial? After the Bolshevik Revolution, Ukraine failed to establish an independent state and was forcefully included into the Soviet Union in 1922. 3 famines happened in Ukraine after that, but Holodomor was the most severe one. From Soviet dictator Joseph Stalin's point of view, Ukraine was a problem. Its nationalist movement was a threat of rebellion, and Ukrainian villagers were reluctant to join collective farms, where they were required to give up their land and livestock. As a response, the Soviets repressed the wealthy villagers, seizing their belongings and deporting them. In the cities, they suppressed the Ukrainian intelligentsia. This repressive effort culminated in 1932. By then, the Soviets had been confiscating grain from villagers for a while, but were leaving them some. It led to a poorer harvest because the villagers had too little grain to sow, and some chose not to sow at all, knowing that the harvest would be confiscated. Then, in 1932, Stalin ordered the confiscation of all food and livestock from Ukrainian villagers. Some villages were blacklisted and banned from trade because they hadn't given up enough food. Stealing food from a collective farm was punishable by death or imprisonment in a labor camp. The authorities ensured that Ukrainian villagers had no way out, banning them from traveling. By winter of 1932-33, villagers had no food at all and no way to buy it. They began to die from starvation. Nearly 4 million people died in Ukraine that winter and spring. Some villages lost 3/4 of their population. The cases of cannibalism were not rare. It worked. Ukrainians were defeated, those who survived joined collective farms. The famine ended in May 1933. After Stalin approved food aid to Ukraine. The Holodomor was a taboo topic in Ukraine until the collapse of the Soviet Union. Today, the Russian government and historians say the famine was neither artificial nor directed at Ukrainians specifically. They say it was an unintentional consequence of collectivization and the industrialization of the country, or simply the result of a bad harvest. It doesn't help that there are only indirect documents pointing to the origin of famine. Meanwhile, Ukrainian and international scholars have gathered and analyzed thousands of testimonies, proving the Soviets intentionally starved Ukrainian villagers. However, Russia's denial complicates the process of international recognition of the Holodomor as genocide. It also plays well into Soviet nostalgia and the rehabilitation of Stalin, occurring in Russia under President Vladimir Putin.